Hey everybody. I'm up late and I've been thinking a lot. The South Carolina primary happened recently, and I live in South Carolina. I live in Columbia, South Carolina, and I've just been thinking about the Republican Party. And what amazes me is that Newt Gingrich came in first, and Ron Paul finished last. Not quite sure I understand what's going on with the state of South Carolina. Um, the only word that can come to mind, well, there are several adjectives that come to mind. None of them I'm going to put on YouTube, with the exception of stupid. Stupid. South Carolina, what the hell is wrong with you? Newt Gingrich? Really? The man that has more divorces than an episode of Divorce Court under his belt. This is the man that has left his ex-wives while they were sick. Yeah, vote for Newt Gingrich. That's very smart. When America gets sick, he'll leave us too. Morons. Anyway, needless to say, I'm not a Republican. Uh, my ideology, I've always considered myself a Democrat. I'm a liberal. When it comes to everything else, I'm very much a moderate. So I consider myself a very centralist Democrat. But Ron Paul fascinates me. He's a very, he's a wonderful candidate. Dr. Paul is, I'm looking at his Wikipedia page and his campaign page as, I'm doing this video. That's why I'm a little distracted. And he's an outstanding candidate, and excuse me. He believes very hardcore in the Constitution. He's I personally think if Ron Paul, if he wins the Republican nomination, and if he actually becomes president, I think Ron Paul will vote to have the Constitution removed from where it is and put in the Oval Office so that he can personally protect it. I think that's how much Ron Paul loves the Constitution. Just my random thoughts, of course. Let's see. Just some of the things that Ron Paul's personal beliefs that stick out, and bear with me while I'm reading this. But some of the things that Ron Paul is for, and I'm quoting straight from Wikipedia. Paul's foreign policy of non-intervention made him the only 2008 Republican presidential candidate to have voted against the Iraq War resolution in 2002. Now, mind you, Ron Paul is not a Republican. He is a libertarian. But, it falls in the Republican category. Google it if you don't understand. But, out of all the candidates, then and now, he's the only one that voted no on Iraq. Which makes him a genius in my book. He advocates withdrawal from the United Nations and from the North Atlantic Treaty Organization for reasons of maintaining strong national sovereignty. Okay. He endorses free trade, rejecting membership in the North American Free Trade Agreement, also known as NAFTA, and the World Trade Organization as managed trade. He endorses increased border security and opposes welfare. Listen to this. Opposes welfare for illegal aliens, birthright citizenship, and amnesty. He voted for the Secure Fence Act of 2006. Okay. He voted for the authorization for use of military force against terrorists in response to the September 11 excuse me, in response to the September 11 attacks, but suggested war alternatives such as authorizing the president to grant letters of marque and reprisal targeting specific terrorists. So it seems like even though he was trying to, go along with that, he was trying to think of other solutions other than war, which, like I said, makes him a genius in my book. Excuse me. He's not a... Ron Paul is not a big government guy. He does not believe in a big government. He wants a very small, very, very small government. Some interesting things about Ron Paul. He has pledged to never raise taxes, which also separates him from the Republicans, and states he has never voted to approve a budget deficit. He also believes that the country should abolish the individual income tax by scaling back federal spending to its fiscal year 2000 levels. Financing government operations would be primarily by excise taxes and non-protectionist tariffs. He also wants to eliminate most federal government agencies, terming them unnecessary bureaucracies. Paul has a consistent record as an inflation hawk, having warned of the threat of hyperinflation as far back as 1981. Some of the department agencies on the federal level that Ron Paul wants to abolish are education, the Federal Reserve or Treasury, I can't remember which. There's quite a lot of them. His years as an obstetrician led him to believe life begins at conception, and he is extremely pro-life. I think Ron Paul wants to have Roe versus Wade unturned and leave it up to the state level. He opposes federal regulation of the death penalty, although he opposes capital punishment of education and of marriage, and endorsed revising the military's "Don't Ask, Don't Tell" policy to concern mainly disruptive sexual behavior, whether heterosexual or homosexual. He thinks global warming is a hoax. He said that in 2009 on Fox Business. He opposes the federal war on drugs. He believes, when it comes to Ron Paul, basically what he wants is to get the federal government out of your life and leave it up to the states. So basically the state can decide whether to legalize medical marijuana, gay marriage, that kind of stuff. Aside from the whole newsletter controversy, Ron Paul sounds like a very great candidate. And unlike a certain Newt Gingrich, who goes through marriages like I go through bags of Skittles, Ron Paul has been married to his wife Carol Wells since 1957. The man has been married to one woman since 1957. No divorce, no nothing. They have 5 children: Ronald, Lori, Randall, Robert, and Joy. Paul's son Randall is the junior United States Senator from the state of Kentucky. It seems like Ron Paul is probably the better candidate for the Republican Party. And I'm not ashamed to say, if Ron Paul ran for president, it's possible I might vote for him. President Obama has made wonderful steps for this country. He has made wonderful change for gay rights. I don't know though, because I'm torn, because I'm very openly gay, yet I don't care for marriage. The way I feel about it is, I don't give a rat's ass about marriage. If gay men and women want to be married, I say let them get married. That's fine. Me personally, I don't want to be married. I have no desire to be married to a male or a female. I don't care for it. I have not really had any great role models for marriage, so therefore I don't care, but I think everyone else should have that right to get married. I don't know if a federal I don't know. I don't know if a federal law is really going to do anything positive. I mean, look at all the backlash that Don't Ask, Don't Tell has taken. And DOMA and all that. I don't know. But I definitely like Ron Paul as a presidential candidate. I think if anybody is to give President Obama a real, legit run for their money, it would be Ron Paul. And I think if you agree with Ron Paul, you should vote for him. He's very popular, despite the fact that he placed last in South Carolina. He's very popular. But back to Newt Gingrich. State of South Carolina, I could just beat the shit out of you. What the hell were you thinking? South Carolina. That's the problem right there. South. Ugh, Lord have mercy. The same state that voted for Bush. If Newt Gingrich wins the presidential nomination for the Republican Party, you're practically ushering in a Bush 2.0 era. That's what's going to happen. Does anybody not remember the 90s? I know most people my age did not give a shit back then because we were in school. But Newt Gingrich was Speaker of the House of Representatives in the 90s. And if anybody remembers, President Clinton couldn't push through any legislature without it being vetoed by Gingrich. Clinton had to sign in Don't Ask, Don't Tell because if he had vetoed it, the Congress would have just overwritten it. Clinton had to take flack for that, but he had no choice. We really want to bring in Newt Gingrich, the man that goes through marriages like I go through bags of Skittles? I'm sorry, but I just... Newt Gingrich, and you know something else that's funny about these Republican candidates? They talk about gay marriage is wrong, it's immoral, gays will ruin the foundation of marriage. Really? 3 divorces? You left 2 wives when they were sick. Or maybe you left all 3. I don't know. I don't keep up with the motherfucker. I don't like him. But Newt Gingrich does not strike me as a moral person. And Rick Santorum, oh my god, Rick Santorum recently said that marriage is not a right but a privilege. While he does not want to take anybody's rights away, the privilege of marriage is only afforded to heterosexual men and heterosexual women. Sounds a bit hypocritical to me. I don't know. But anyway, two things that I've loved so far about the Republicans. Michelle Bachmann and Herman Cain out of the race. I love that. I really do. But let's just hope Michelle Bachmann doesn't get offered a position at Fox News, because if they have both Sarah Palin and Michelle Bachmann, ew. Alright, this has been my political sound bit. I've spent 14 minutes doing it. I'm done. Love you all. Bye.